So 7:30, let's take a look at what is happening with the morning newspapers. Always good to have back with us from Business Insider SA, Larry Claassen joining us. Morning to you, Larry. So a lot happening in both the Mail and Guardian and Witness. We'll get there now. But now it looks like your newspaper or your website picking up on the very first South African smartphone manufacturer.
That's right.
Lost the company, lost the factory, but now they want it back. Have I got this right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a confusing development what happened with Moraphones. Moraphones was basically an offshore operation, offshore company, and they were going to set up a local operation in South Africa. But now the local management wants to buy out the plant. So the IDC got an offer to purchase the plant. But the IDC says we'll weigh up against our development objectives and also objectives of supporting the local economy and supporting jobs. So hopefully we'll see something come out of it. But with Moraphones, there's still a lot to answer for in terms of how they were running the plant. You know, workers claim they never got the UI, they haven't got their retrenchment letter, so that means they can't claim UIF. They also said that there was no proper deductions from their salary for tax and pension funds and UIF deductions. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get some answers on those eventually.
No, we need some answers because definitely jobs here are on the line, but I can see the IDC, they're trying to also recover their money. But let's move to the Mail and Guardian if we can. Larry, the headline there, whose job is it to create jobs? And we heard from the president saying it's up to private sector. But of course, the president mentioning that he understands that he has to enable private sector rights through at least, firstly, cutting up that red tape.
Yeah, I think the president has done a lot to the president does come from business, so he understands what it takes to run a business and to grow an economy. My issue with the incentives themselves. If you look at Mara Computer, for instance, they had almost 400 million rand in incentives, and they couldn't make it work. And we've seen this pattern before, where government kind of gives incentives and businesses don't perform. To government's credit, they have cut some of the bad incentives, but they still continue with stuff like, for instance, the IDZ program, which is yet to actually kind of like really pay off. And when you speak to businesses, they want incentives are nice, but they also want basic stuff. I was at a conference about 3 years ago, and the founders of both Takealot and Investec were there, and they both wanted the same thing: better public transport for their workers. I think we shouldn't see the incentives for business as different from incentives or support for the greater society. So, yeah, hopefully this time we'll get it right.
Yeah, it's a loaded question. Whose job is it to create jobs? It's such a good question on the Mail and Guardian. The Witness, can we just talk about COVID-19 very quickly, Larry, if it's okay? The story we're picking up on is the SA Health Regulating Authority approves the use of this COVID-19 tablet, this use of COVID-19 pill, but now we're hearing that government has said they're not going to pay for it. Any idea what's happening with that?
I think it's very good news for people that don't like needles, myself included. So, but I think that they just did the sums in terms of like how many vaccines they've already got. We've seen the vaccination rate drop very quickly over the last few months. So why should they spend money on something that won't be used? I think maybe your medical aid will pay for a vaccine, the tablet, but I don't think the state has got the budget or to cater for something like that. Yeah, as I said, it's for those who don't like needles.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The pull, I think a lot of people would have been a fan of that as well. And also, just to go and check out Business Insider South Africa on this, Mara wanting to buy back its own smartphone factory. There's a lot of money involved there. Larry Claassen, thank you very much indeed from Business Insider SA. You'll see as well on The Witness, Tums and I noted this one earlier because Comrades 2022 entry details are out. Did you get your running shoes yesterday?
No,
I didn't. You would?
No, I did not promise that I would.
Well, you said you'd go look at some running shoes.
Gareth.
Well, you said you'd look. for this year.
Listen,
Tula Sizwe Simelane is going to be so
say,
disappointed in us.
I can trust Tula Sizwe to run on all our behalf.
Yeah.
The entire eNCA, at least Tula Sizwe would, of course, be running for us. I'm hoping that he would come back and give us feedback that he has fished his running shoes.
I don't even know if he is entering. He's entering now, Tula Sizwe Simelane, because I think this will be his third or fourth that he's running. So T, we're supporting you for Comrades this year. That's what's happening as far as the newspapers are concerned.